Know the weather will get colder, that it can't always be spring. And when I pushed you in a stroller, you were looking up, singing life like a church hymn. You are gonna find your place, child. Of that much I know, I'm sure. Keep on laughing at the rain, I guess. Isn't that the place to start? Then you will be stronger than you are now, but you will not know everything. And when the water's spilling over the bow, you'll still have me in the wind. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again. Treat your mother like she's made of gold. After all, she brought you here. And if you're lost, go see the ocean. It will always help you steer. Someday you will be stronger than you are now, but you will not know everything. Water spilling over the bow, you'll still have me in the wind. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again. Someday I will be weaker than I am now, and I still won't know everything. But when I'm passing up and over the cloud, I hope that you'll have learned from me. Someday you will be stronger than you are now, but you will not know everything. When the water's spilling over the bow, you'll still have me in the way. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again. You gotta get up to get down, kid. You gotta get down to get up again.
Take a leap of faith. We got a love that's worth the wait. Darling, you've been on my mind. Gonna love you till the end of time. And I know you're the one. Our story's just begun. I'm never gonna let you go. With your love I'll never be alone. There's only one thing I know for sure. I'm never gonna let you go. Come on, baby, what you waiting for? You and me could be so much more. There's something I've been dying to say. Honey, let's take a leap of faith. And I know you're the one. Our story's just begun. I'm never gonna let you go. With your love I'll never be alone. There's only one thing I know for sure. I'm holding on forevermore. I'm never gonna let you go. With your love I'll never be alone. There's only one thing I know for sure. I'm never gonna let you go.
I remember finding out your name. I will never forget that day. Thought it was over, but we found a four-leaf clover. A new beginning was underway. This news left me in a daze, mortified but afraid. Little did I know what a joy it'd be to watch you grow. How could I have thought any other way? skies will never be gray. And you will always find my love. You will always find my love. You will always find my love when you need it the most. You will always be enough. I hope your blessings overflow. Make sure your candle always glows, and that your skies will never be gray.
うん